Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, August 17th, 18th, one of those two, I think. 17th, if I'm not mistaken. I'm back over at the park. I was going to do a walk and talk, and actually, I did my walk and talk, but for some reason, I talked, but it didn't record. So now we're going to do a sit and talk. Still at the park. It's about 95, 96 degrees right now. So hopefully we can do this without passing out from heat stroke. I've got a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, I want to ask you all a question. And I've thought about this a lot this week. If you could go back in time and talk to your 17 or 18-year-old self, you're going to be talking to yourself about this about 50 years ago. If you could go back in time and talk to yourself, what advice would you give to yourself? What words of wisdom would you pass on, and hopefully that you would take to heart and follow? Like I say, I've thought about this a lot over the last week. The advice I would give to myself, my 17 or 18-year-old self, is you're going to have a lot of jobs before you settle on a career. Whether you're going to be flipping burgers or gnats are out. Flipping burgers or washing cars or being a lifeguard or, cleaning up a retail store part-time. Whatever your job's going to be, every time you get a paycheck, put a little bit of it into a savings account. Get your folks to take you down to the bank. Get them to help you or point you in the right direction so you can set up a savings account. If you could put 10% back each paycheck, that'd be great. Most 17, 18-year-olds are not going to do that. At least put $5 back. That's a start. You're going to be shocked when you get to retirement age. You still have that savings account, how much money is in there. Even if you just put, like I say, $5. Once you get into a career, start putting in $10. Put in 10%, whatever you can afford to put in. But savings is going to be crucial for surviving your retirement years. The folks that are listening now, if you would put the advice that you'd give yourself down in the comments, I'm really curious as to what you'd be telling yourself to do and how you would tell them to do what you think is best. I think savings is right up there at the top. I'm sure there's other things, but number one with me is savings. Tell me in the comments what you would be doing, all right? Moving on, I'm just talking about the high cost of living today, especially for seniors on a fixed income. Whether you have a pension or a big savings account or not, it seems like everything is going up. I don't care. So let's talk about transportation. Price of gas it's all over the board. It's crazy. Let's see. The price of a gallon of gas in 2019, 6 years ago, almost 7 years ago, was $2.60 a gallon. Today, national average, $3.49. Now, I know it's going to be different for everybody because everybody's in a different part of the country. I know out west, it's going to be much more expensive because it's much more expensive to live in the West Coast. I live in Florida, Central Florida, on the west coast of the state, and on the Gulf. We'll just leave it at that. So I just passed a racetrack gas station coming over here, and the price today was $2.99. Everywhere else is $3.04 to $3.14, $3.16. Why? What? I wish somebody could explain to me the difference in how one station can charge $2.99 and the station a block down the street is at $3.14. How are they selling gas? And there's people sitting there pumping. That's what gets me. I try to save my gas purchases until I can get up to Sam's Club or Costco. They always have a lower price. Last week we went up to Sam's Club. Their price was $2.84 a gallon. Best price you're going to find. Of course, Costco and Sam's always has the best price, the lowest price. Obviously, they want to get you in the door. So we don't belong to BJ's, but I understand they have even a better price than Costco or Sam's. So I don't know if that's true. Like I say, we don't belong to BJ's. There's not one close enough to get us to go to. So if you're not buying your own gas, if you use a car service like Uber, I don't know what they charge. I can't really speak on using an Uber because I've never used one, and I don't know how much it costs, how much you're supposed to tip. Is it cheaper than paying for your own gas? Now, granted, if you for whatever reason you can't drive or you're not supposed to drive, then I guess you have no choice. You're going to have to depend on ride service or grocery delivery, whatever that's going to be. So I don't know how to compare those two. Another one I want to talk about is the high cost of healthcare. You know, we're all seniors. We're all living on a fixed income. And it seems like just going to the doctor costs more each time you go. You know, and sometimes you don't even see a doctor. Sometimes you see what do they call them? Doctor assistant, nurse assistant. I don't know. Hopefully they know enough, or they can talk to a real doctor to find out what they should be doing. But you know, just going to the doctor's office is getting awful pricey. Prescription medicine, you know, some of these companies, if you're doing what they call maintenance meds, you're doing all right. You can get, most places will either do them for free or the cost is very minimal. $4 a prescription for a 30-day supply. You know, most people get a 90-day supply, so you're looking at $10-12. But still, healthcare, you know, if you got to go to the hospital, wow, it can get real pricey. So, and there's, what can you do? Not a whole lot that I can think of. Another area that's getting crazy, housing and utilities. You know, if you don't already own a home, I don't know how people are going to be able to afford a home. And if you have to rent, my gosh, I think the lowest rent around here is about $1,200 a month. And you're talking about just a little bit bigger than an efficiency apartment. You know, maybe one bedroom, one person kitchen. Cost of housing is just astronomical. Let's talk about property taxes. I know every city needs to collect taxes to keep the city running. Yes, we need qualified policemen. We need firefighters. We need good roads to drive on. I understand all that. But do we need to gouge people? And that's what I feel like they're doing. We're just getting gouged at every turn. Shouldn't there be some kind of a break for people over a certain age? You know, I'm not saying give it to us free. I don't want you to give me anything. But a little break, that'd be great. How about electricity cost? You know, they really got you when it comes to electricity. How many people have electrical companies to pick from? Oh, I'm going to go with this one because they're cheaper. They're a monopoly. I mean, yeah, they are regulated and they have to justify their cost increases, but I've never seen a cost increase get turned down when it comes to electricity. I live in Central Florida. Right now, it's about 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock. It's already 95 degrees. We keep our thermostat at home set at 77 year round. Now, obviously, in the winter, that's not an issue because it never kicks on, which is great. But during the summer, right now, I'm sure it's running. It runs quite often. I budget $250 a month for my electric bill. We just paid last month's electric bill, $269 and change. Yep, we went over. I knew it was going to happen. I know it's going to happen next month. I know it's probably going to happen the month after that. August, September, October. November is going to start cooling down, hopefully. But right now, I still budget $250. I know I'm going to go over. So I look at my budget every month. Where can I cut back? Well, we definitely don't need to be going out to eat. Plus, it's too hot to get in the car and go anywhere. So my eating out budget can go to my electric bill if need be. But electricity, same with water. You know, they've already told us we're going to have like a 3% increase in our water rates next year, starting next year. So we already know that's going up. The last one I want to talk to you about, probably the one that affects us the most, the high cost of going to the grocery store. You know, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Kroger. Some places still have Albertsons. You can go to Save-A-Lot. You can go to Aldi, Winn-Dixie. There's all different kinds of grocery stores you can go to. It's not good no matter where you go. I took 4 items and I checked them this morning before I left the house. I did a comparison of from 2019 to today and what my local Walmart this morning, what their local price was for these 4 items. So first off, let's take a dozen large eggs. In 2019, the price was $1.45 a dozen. National average. National average right now in 2025, $3. My local Walmart store's today's price was $2.72. So, hey, we're doing better. A gallon of milk, just regular milk, not 1%, 2% skim or any of those almond things or whatever, just a gallon of vitamin D whole milk in 2019 was $3.04 a gallon. Today's average price, $4.47. I don't know how they're doing it, but my Walmart, $2.97. I'll take it. A head of iceberg lettuce. This really just gets me because we eat a lot of salads in our house. Iceberg lettuce in 2019, $1.18 a head. $1.18 a head. 5.5, 6 years later, 2025, average price nationwide, $3.18. That's quite a jump. My local Walmart, $2.16. I remember when a head of lettuce was 79 cents a head. And now, $2.16? Wow. A loaf of whole wheat bread, 2019 was $1.95. Today's national average, $2.69. Quite a jump. Quite a jump. Walmart's price, and I think this was great value, whole wheat. I don't even know. I'm sure it wasn't the most expensive bread. $2.67. So we're 2 cents cheaper than the national average on a loaf of whole wheat bread. Is it going to get any better for us? I wish I had a crystal ball I could look into and predict. Do I think it's going to get better? No. Probably not. All I can do is look at that budget and move things around and hope for the best, keep my fingers crossed. If you would, when you see this, put down in the comments, what are you doing to fight the high price of everything? Transportation, housing, groceries, utilities, healthcare. tell me what you're doing. I'd love to read some of these things and maybe even make a video of what suggestions and ideas you folks have. Right now, I'm going to go get in the car and head home because it's warm. So, folks, until next time, I'm Brian, and you all take care of yourself.